All right, partner, we're back at it here.
We are.
Yeah, lots of shit happening.
There's always shit happening in this country, I feel like.
Yeah, there is.
Will there ever be a period where we're like, we don't have much to talk about this week?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't ever think we're going to run out of material.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's
not in this political climate.
So the gasoline's on a rise again. 3.78 is the national average.
Yep.
And apparently OPEC, I guess we as a country went to OPEC with our hands out, begging them to pump more oil to stabilize pricing or bring pricing down. Stabilize is a goofy word, but to bring pricing down, and they told us to go pound salt.
Yeah. Right.
So what does Biden do? He came home and then released another so many billion gallons off the strategic oil reserve, which I thought was initially there for the national emergency.
Yeah. They're claiming this is a national emergency. Okay, how about we just become energy independent? Like, why don't we just get back to what we were doing before Biden came in office? That to me is like, there's certain things that we're just, I can't logically understand. Like, okay, why, if we can get it here, why not get it here? Like, why? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, we were moving towards energy independence. We were drilling here. We were doing the things we had to do. Gas prices were down. And then it's like, oh, no, fuck you guys. We're going to stop all this shit, and you're going to buy it over there.
I mean, I could understand if it was a kind of energy that was, if they were bottling sunshine over there and we could open it up here and rays of sunshine would come out that gave us magical energy.
Right.
I could understand that, but it's the same flipping thing.
Right. That's exactly right. It's like you have all this food at home and nope, can't cook that. Got to go out and buy shit. It's more expensive. It's exactly the same shit you have at home. There's nothing different. Same food, but you got to go over there and buy it and pay 3 times the price instead of making the shit we have here. It doesn't make any sense.
Because we want to take the moral high ground, figuring that we don't want to cause any distress to the environment. We want to be the world leaders in doing that. But meanwhile,
you can't eliminate fucking oil. You can't eliminate
not
fossil
overnight.
fuels. Explain to me how you're going to eliminate fossil fuels in general across the world. You can't.
It's going to take technology in the future that we do not have right now. The assumption is some technology someday will come around that hopefully will minimize and eventually eliminate fossil fuels, but it's not going to happen next year.
Look what happened in California. Was a couple weeks ago when they said hey, we're going to ration electricity, right? They say we were going to ration because of the power grid. People were charging their fucking electric cars with gas-powered generators. The irony in that. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is, again, like, we talk, as a country, we talk about climate change and all the Green New Deal, but we never look at the specifics of how each piece is interlocked with others. Like, you can't, okay, electric cars, cool, great, good idea, okay, but what about all the other shit that goes into the electric cars? A situation like that, what do we do? Now I just saw from Hurricane Ivan, electric cars are exploding in Florida because of water damage. But these cars are literally exploding. The batteries in these electric cars, because of the water damage, are fucking exploding. Okay? It doesn't happen with combustion engines when you get water in them.
There's a contingency it wasn't planned for.
I mean, I literally just read this article today. Cars are exploding.
I don't know. I don't know. We did see this little moment, which unfortunately it's around the tragedy, which is Hurricane Ivan. But you saw a moment where there was the president and the governor of Florida. Potentially, both of them could be facing off in an election at some point. Working together, at least from a PR standpoint, putting on a good public face. And I would hope there are some good things happening between the feds and the state of Florida in terms of emergency support. I hope so. Sure. But for that short little moment, there was a little bit of harmony.
But you also heard what the vice president said. Which, again, like, okay, that shouldn't be an issue in a situation like this.
Let's talk about what she said.
Well, she was saying that the aid should go to, I don't remember the exact quote, but to paraphrase, we should be looking at the the disadvantaged populations first for aid. It's like, no, like Florida got fucking destroyed. Like, help everybody, regardless of your race, religion, socioeconomic status. Like, it's a national emergency. It's a state emergency. Like, we can't let like these, identity politics get into this. That's what
that's her attempt. That's her whole narrative. Her whole being. Her political being is wrapped around that.
I haven't
100%,
and I haven't heard her say one intelligent thing since. And I'm sorry, like since she's been in office, like I haven't heard her say one intelligent thing.
Her administration knows it. That's why they put her out to pasture. I mean,
yeah.
They don't put her far enough out to pasture because they keep putting her on global stages, as she's done recently with all the snafus in South Korea. But, Dan Quayle, and you really didn't live through that. You were very young.
Mm-mm.
Dan Quayle was no Mensa member.
Sure.
Okay, I don't think he was a bad human.
Sure.
I don't think our current vice president's a bad human.
No, not at all.
But she makes Dan Quayle look like Einstein.
Yeah, right. I mean, again, it's almost comical.
Oh, it's comical.
Like I sent you that video of just they compared her to the show on HBO Veep, where like, I mean, just the things she says. It's like the passage of time.
I'm still trying to figure out the passage of time.
Is about the time passing through the passage. Like, what the fuck is she saying?
Well, it almost seems like she's stoned. Like when you see those moments like that, she's. I don't believe that she is. But
No.
But the actions, that what she says, it almost appears to be like she's just out of it.
She's out of her comfort zone.
Bam. But she was a prosecutor, right?
Sure.
I mean, she's an attorney. She's a prosecutor. I mean, there's got to be some level of dynamic skill set there of some kind.
Sure, a prosecutor, you're in front of a jury of 12 people, right? You might be 20 people in a courtroom. Now you're on a world stage.
I understand.
But it's just that she's shitting the bed every time she speaks.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Is she over her head?
Yes. That's my answer, yes.
At least from an emotional standpoint, it appears to be that way.
Yes, 1,000%.
You know?
I mean, the whole administration is over their head, in my opinion.
So we jumped around a little bit. I'm going to go back to OPEC.
Let's do it.
OPEC told us to go pound salt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if all this is correct, but I believe OPEC is getting cozy with the Russians right now, and I don't know how all that plays into Putin's thing, but you don't know what to believe because depending on what news, big surprise, right?
Yeah.
Depending on what news service you subscribe to, the conservative viewpoint of the war is one way, and unfortunately the liberals is another way, and where we should be unified as a country, I would hope in something as big as that, we have two different viewpoints. So it's hard to determine what's exactly going on, but it seems like Putin's getting his ass handed to him.
Yes.
And you've got issues with them recruiting people. They've instituted a draft. There are pockets of the Russian troops surrendering. Winter is coming.
Yes.
My question is, all that might be true, and his Putin's health is failing. All these things seem to be going bad. But man, no one from his country or inner circle has taken him down. Or I mean, it's like, what the hell are they waiting for? Really, what are they waiting for?
No, I mean that's a good point.
Opportunity?
Well, I think it's got to be opportunity and the least collateral damage. So I think, and again, I'm no military strategist in any way, shape, or form, but I think just in any situation like this, right, just speaking or thinking logically about it, one, there has to be opportunity, right? Because you're talking about like taking out the head of a government, right, to prevent other things from happening.
I'm not saying we should do it. I'm saying
I'm saying someone inside,
his own people.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm saying one, there's got to be the opportunity, right?
Right.
And there's got to be the opportunity has to be of a situation with the least collateral damage, meaning there's not going to be that many unintended consequences. I don't think they've found that yet. I think he's still too unstable. I think if you try and overtake him or take him out in the mode in which he's in right now, his unstableness, and you don't do it, you miss he goes off the rails. That's how I look at it. It's kind of you're doing a risk analysis, right? Okay, this guy's completely batshit crazy. We may have some opportunity, but it's not the perfect opportunity. So if we miss, which the probability is higher than it should be, the collateral damage way offsets that. That's how I look at it. They've got to find a situation where the collateral damage comes down, and the probability of a miss comes down.
What's so fascinating to me is he's out traveling. He's made these trips to foreign countries. So his plane, I'm assuming it's a plane. Maybe he went by train. I don't know. But he's out traveling. And I would say once he gets into the air, he's at risk.
Yeah, but
there's some brazen shit going on right now.
Yeah, but think about just the mentality of the different countries, right? Like, there's such it's such a one-track mind where you have a leader like him where people are in fear of him, meaning they're not as inclined to do something in opposition of the current government. And I think that's the problem with countries like Russia, where you have someone let's call him a dictator, right? People are living in fear of him. So it's going to take almost a revolution to overthrow him. In a revolution, it starts with one person, but it takes work and time and strategy. I don't think they're there yet. Look at just Russia's military strategy in general, right? It looks like it's a fucking shit show. So do they have enough intelligent people within that country, within the military, to make that strategic revolutionary move? Because that's what I think needs to happen.
So you're saying the lack of brain trust or their own ineptitude is keeping him safe internally?
I think so, yeah. Absolutely. That's exactly what I think.
I'm not a World War II scholar at all, but I'd be fascinated to know that during the beginning of World War II, did Hitler make diplomatic missions outside of his own country?
It's a good question.
I think he might have went to Italy to make a joint appearance of Mussolini.
Possibly,
but outside of that, I'd be fascinated to know if he did.
I know someone that knows a lot about World War II. I'll have to ask her.
Yeah, just curious. Joe Biden says he's running in 2024.
Running where?
To the bathroom, maybe.
Listen,
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
Cool, go for it. Like, thank you. If he, do you really think that dude is cognitively aware to run again?
I don't think.
How old is he now? He's 80. What is he? 82.
Yeah. I don't think he was all there when he was running from his basement.
No fucking
last
way.
Time.
No way.
I don't believe that he, found some kind of memory pills.
And look, to me, okay, like we've talked on this before, and people know my political views. Like I'm center right, I'm, fiscally conservative, socially, whatever.
Yeah, we're very similar. Yeah. Very similar.
But I want the best candidate for the job. And if they put up a Democrat that is the best candidate and that person gets elected, that's what's best for the country.
Sure.
We should all come together and realize, hey, guess what, guys? Biden's probably not the best pick for us to put up in case we do win.
The DNC won't permit him to run again.
I would fucking hope not. I hope someone has half a brain to say, this dude has shaken hands with the air on multiple occasions. Is this the best choice to put as our candidate? There's so many other intelligent Democrats that I think are moderate that would potentially unite the country. He is not one of them. Okay, run out your 4 years and get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, but you know what Joe says, right? No one F's with a Biden.
That's that hot mic moment.
That's what he said. That's what apparently he said.
Well, it looks like the Fed might be fucking with Hunter Biden because they're doing the investigation now on lobbying violations and like tax fraud. So they haven't decided they're going to open a case yet or not. But again, if they don't, that's the bullshit of the elite, in my opinion.
Yeah, we got so many other problems.
So many.
He's a crackhead.
It's also true.
Yeah. So another thing Joe did last couple days here is he made the proclamation. He actually said that we are closer to nuclear Armageddon, or that I'm sorry, we are close. We are the closest we've ever been to nuclear Armageddon since I think the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
I think that's the reference point that he gave.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, the 62 Cuban Missile Crisis. Mm-hmm. Now, no, I wasn't around for that. I'm just talking about it from history, as you are.
Yeah, I was not born.
Neither was I. Right. 62. Parents weren't even together then. That all might be true, and he might be spot on, accurate, true.
Mm-hmm.
But is that a healthy and a respectable thing for a president to utter to the public on a microphone?
No.
To the American people?
No. Especially because of the situation we're in right now with inflation, with the economy, with a lot of the things that are going on. And is that something he said just to scare America? Or is that
what, though?
Or is that truly what's going on? Because if that's truly what's going on in this shit we don't know about as the American public, then that's also scary. If we're that close to nuclear Armageddon and we're all just living our lives like this is cool, like no problems here, and our president comes and says, hey, we're pretty close to fucking nuclear Armageddon, what are they not telling us? What haven't they been telling us? Or is that just a ploy to get America in fear again? Elections are coming up.
Yeah, but okay, I went that direction.
Sure.
So let's vet that out. If the idea is to scare the public, deeply scare the public again during election time, how would that endear the American public more toward his side of the political aisle? How would that happen? Like, by scaring the public in terms of Armageddon, we're going to vote Democratic because of that?
Well,
I don't know how that works.
I don't either. What my gut is telling me is they're looking at, okay, if we scare them, they won't change power. Stability is better. Like if we go in and vote out all the Democrats and now the Republicans take control, well, we know the Republicans, they're all about military and fighting and this. And if we're that close to nuclear Armageddon, they won't keep the country safe because they'll go to fucking war. They call Republicans warmongers, right? I mean, that's part of what
traditionally,
they yeah. So is he trying to say we are the party that will keep you safe, where the Republicans will pull us into a war?
Maybe
like that's a deeper level, I think, but that's something that could be happening in the background. Because why else say that?
I don't know.
Because are we that close? Are there fucking nukes pointing at L.A. or what's going to happen? Like, we don't know. We just got a statement from our president that we're that close.
Yeah.
Okay. How about some context?
Unsettling.
Like, how about a little bit of context,
thing
dude?
To say. I mean,
that'd be like me saying, "Hey, I'm going to the emergency room and I'm pretty fucked up, but I'm not going to tell you why." Like, okay, like, cool. Like, thanks. Some context would be good.
All right, let's change it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, did you happen to see the karaoke video that Mayor Lightfoot in Chicago recorded?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's to promote some kind of blues festival in Chicago.
Yeah, there's a karaoke festival, I think it was. To promote.
Oh,
it was a karaoke
festival.
I think it's Chicago Karaoke Festival.
Oh, didn't know there were such things as that.
Yeah. Well, I think the crime, if I remember the statistic correctly, has increased 37%.
I think that's right.
Is that the best use of your time?
Yeah, apparently think so.
And look,
optics, man.
It's optics. And it's one thing. It's like that TikTok did not take 10 seconds to shoot. That TikTok probably took an entire day of filming and the fuck ups and all, the production of it. So it's not like she just put her phone in like 10-second TikTok live talking to my people. That was a planned fucking shoot.
Sure.
Like, there are better uses of your time and taxpayer dollars than to shoot a TikTok video to promote a fucking karaoke festival in a city where crime has increased 37%.
Well, she doesn't believe that there's any crime problem. She's well on record of saying that. She disputes the statistics, which that just boggles my mind too. That whole, it's math. I know
You can't put your head in the sand.
I know there's a lot of public school issues in Chicago. We won't talk about those, but it is basic math.
Yeah. Now her argument would be, well, statistics can be manipulated, which is true. Like I had statistics in college, and I had it in my MBA program. And yes, you can get statistics to say what you want. But in my opinion, I mean, crime data is crime data. A crime is a crime.
Well, it's just follow the logic of the events that have transpired in the last couple of years. You remove police departments and you handcuff your police departments, and you make them public enemy number one through messaging and promoting like violent protests against them. Yeah, I'm guessing logic would tell you the crime's going to go up.
Yeah, and the problem was, and because I've learned a little bit about, having discussions about the defund the police movement, and it's the messaging that's all wrong. Because there were cities that said just defund them, like blanket defund. There were other cities that they were trying to allocate funds to different parts of the way to limit crime. But the messaging was all wrong. When you hear defund the police, like, what do you think? Take funding away from the police, get rid of police departments.
I think it's the dumbest flippant thing I've ever heard in my life.
Stupid.
That's what I think when I hear it.
Completely
putting those words
stupid
together in a short sentence and then protesting.
Right.
Does not show a high level of IQ from the people who decide to hold up that sign.
Right. Because what they needed was, what they were trying to do in some instances was get more money to fund additional programs outside of actual law enforcement.
They should have made different signs.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Like that, the messaging was all wrong. That's the whole problem. That's a big part of the problem. The messaging was wrong, and that's what creates the problem. And then these politicians,
they didn't fix it.
Exactly. They latch onto it because now they can rile up their base.
The base of people that believe that they should defund the police. The base of the people that I don't get it. Like I just don't.
No.
I just don't get it because I refuse to believe that it's a race thing, and I refuse to believe it's a gender thing. I refuse to believe it's a city versus city thing. I honestly believe the idea of reducing the amount of police in the country is not going to help society.
Yeah, that's the worst idea ever. Like you can't reduce police.
A fifth grader would know that.
Yes, you can't reduce police. You have to allocate more resources to police departments.
Let's say that.
Well, right. Well, that's the thing. They don't know how to message it. Defund the police was more toxic and more sensational, and that's what they did.
Back to the global thing for a second.
Okay.
This might open up a can of worms, but that's what we do, right?
That's exactly what we do.
Why does America have to do everything?
Because we are the world's superpower. That's what people think. We'll give you an example. Do what? Police the world?
Police the world.
Okay.
Be the leaders in most things.
Mm-hmm. What would be the alternative?
I think turning our focus inwards in certain areas and worrying about our own people first. Not sacrificing our security for it, but I'm saying...
I agree with that. I think we have to... National security should come first, in my opinion. That's why I believe in a strong military, because we are truly the policemen of the world. And I think if you take away our superpower, who knows what will happen? Like we are the peacekeeper, I believe, our nation, because of our military prowess and the amount of money and the amount of resources we have in the military. And people argue about, take money away from the military. No, I don't. I think that's a bad idea. How about fix government fucking spending? Curb government spending, get rid of shit programs. That's what we need to do. And so I do, to your point, I think, yes, outside of protecting our national security, we should be focusing here. If we have fucking homeless veterans and we're giving aid to other countries and not giving aid to these people, that's a fucking problem. Like, we need to fix the problems we have here. Food scarcity, all these problems we have as a country, but yet we're giving all this foreign aid to other countries. We need to fix our home first before we can fix anybody else's. Now we need to protect. I believe we need to be strong enough to protect the world and keep the world stable. But when it comes to the actual problems of individual countries, we have to fix ours first. We have to allocate resources here first.
Homeless veterans, without a doubt. The other thing too,
children, like single mothers,
the hunger thing. I mean, fixing homelessness is such a daunting task. There's many ways to do that, which are very complex and different viewpoints on that. I do think something needs done, but the thing we could fix, we have the resources to fix it and the methods in place, and that is hunger in this country. We can't fix hunger across the world.
Correct.
We can't do that, but we could do it. There's not a child, a mother, a father, a grandparent, an elderly. Nobody should be going to sleep at night without food.
Correct. I 1,000% agree.
Of all things.
Yes. No child should be hungry.
That's
no child should have to worry about where their next meal is coming from.
100%. That's the one thing. And
if we can't allocate the resources,
huge failure.
That's what pisses me off about government spending, because we piss away so much money on bullshit. Like, how come we can't? We all agree that's a fucking problem. Like, why aren't we putting resources towards that? And then the problem you have is when you get into the political arguments.
Because we don't care enough.
Well, and it's always reduce military spending. Take the money from the military. It's like, no, okay. But what part of the military? Where do you want to take the money from? No one can ever give a good answer. It's just military in general. Our military is too big. Well, okay. Where do we eliminate? What do we cut? What do we cut? Tell me. Give me specifics. Don't just say military. Don't just say too big. Where?
Yeah, I think it speaks to a broader issue. I just don't think. I think humans are just selfish creatures by nature. I think there's intrinsic beauty with helping others out, and I think we feel that in moments in our life. But I don't think that's our default mechanism. No. I would love it to be, but it's not. We just don't care enough to fix these problems. We talk about them, but those we've elected to be in power are not championing. I can guarantee if you take every congressperson, you put them in a room, Senate and Democrat, put them there, none of them have as a number one priority stopping American citizens' hunger with American citizens. Not one person has that as top priority. No. It's not sexy. It probably doesn't. Yeah, it probably doesn't gather votes.
Yep, exactly.
Which is a reflection of the electric, which is the reflection of all of us.
Yeah,
we just don't care enough.
100%.
That's a little depressing. If you sit
completely depressing.
Yeah, it's a little depressing. So the Kevin Spacey sex abuse trial has just started in New York City.
Who gives a fuck?
Well, if you don't care, neither do I.
He's a piece of shit. I mean, look.
Agreed.
I mean, Hollywood, think about all the shit they cover up. Like, it's bullshit. Like, these people have been getting away with shit for years. They should all be on fucking trial if they do this bullshit.
Yeah, it's mind-numbing to me that there was this whole thing with Jeffrey Epstein and all the abuse and all that stuff. But yet, that Prince Andrew is still in his little wealthy castle over there doing his thing. And supposedly, is it Ghislaine?
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
We'll just say G. Maxwell.
She's still breathing, right? She hasn't been killed yet in prison or nothing.
No, she hasn't killed herself.
Okay. But, I mean, supposedly all we heard was that she had a list of people that were involved with that circumstance. And then we
swept under the rug.
Then we hear nothing.
Well, and again, that's the elite protecting the elite. And that's the problem I have with this country is we're, especially with Hollywood, right there, that's all it's about. It's, this shit goes on. Like, I know people in Hollywood. Like, I've dealt with people in Hollywood, and this all happens. It's just now it's coming to the surface. Yeah. People like Kevin Spacey are getting caught. Now they're being made examples of. And it's like they almost sacrifice someone. It's like, if we give them this person, we can keep doing our shit back here. Because we gave them someone. We gave them someone of significance. Bad dude. Put him on trial. Make him go to jail. Cool. We'll keep doing this here because now they're just paying attention over here. That's what I think a lot of this happens is for. It's for diversion.
You think?
I mean, I think maybe not I think subconsciously that's a part of what's happening because like Kevin Spacey, okay, like he wasn't like this incredible, like A-list all the time actor. He was always like this supporting actor.
He's a pretty big guy though.
In certain instances, but he's big enough to, they got him. They got the sex offender. He's on trial now. Meanwhile, the shit's still going on, but no one's paying attention to it. So they think, we got the big guy, everybody else is going to stop. It's not the fucking case. It's not going to happen. It's just a diversion, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
it's my limited viewpoint, but that's how I look at it.
It's just the system protecting its own.
Exactly right. Yes,
and it gathers attention for a little while. But I definitely lumped the Biden thing in there with the kid. I mean, Hunter is that his name, and just it's like we hear about it, and there's laptops and video that he put up there,
right?
What all this stuff, him smoking crack and all that shit,
selling art for $400,000.
Like, why does that not yield an investigation?
Yeah, I mean, let's unpack that for 30 seconds. This dude was in the military, dishonorably discharged, a fucking crackhead, decides I'm gonna paint some shit and it's worth $400,000. Like, are you not buying influence? Like, that's really what's happening here. People are buying influence. He's the president's son. He's already sold influence prior to his dad becoming president. Now all of a sudden it's like, if we give this dude $400,000 for this piece of shit fucking painting that he drew while he was on whatever, we can get some influence. That's what's happening, in my opinion. I can be wrong.
Nothing bothers me more than the idea of going to Congress to serve for a limited period of time, taking some working years out of corporate and going there for a smaller amount of money, putting your years in, doing your service, coming back out and entering the workforce again. That is gone. The idea now is to get these positions because once you get embedded, the idea is to keep staying there because although you might be making $182,000 a year or even maybe $120,000 a year, magically 5, 6, 10 years in there, your net worth is now $8 million, $20 million, $25 million. It doesn't make any mathematical sense. The system is to enrich our elected officials.
Look at AOC.
Legally.
I just saw somebody with AOC. She's been in politics, a few years?
I think she was a bartender.
She was a bartender beforehand. And she has I think it said her net worth is over $20 million right now.
How is that actually possible? And then show me, is that legal?
There's ways around it, right? Like, hey, we want you to come talk to our organization. We are a green energy company. Come talk to our organization. We're going to pay you $250,000 for a 30-minute speech. And we just want to talk to you afterwards about our green energy products that we think could be great if it's put in a bill somewhere. Like, that's the shit that goes on, unfortunately.
Yeah, but how does their earned income on their tax return, if they're making $150,000 a year?
It's investment income. It's royalties.
It needs to magically come. It's got to start from somewhere.
They get it. They'll get 1099s from these. A lot of these people that get money from speeches, like speaking engagements, book advances.
How is that permitted? Like, what if we eliminated all that stuff?
We'd have shitty fucking. We'd probably have less people run for office.
Maybe the people that are running for office were really interested in service, and they'd be okay with term limits.
Sure. I mean, well, again, I think term limits fix the problems. Like, that's what we need to get to, term limits. Because here's the thing: if you run in the state legislature, right, I can keep my career, I could keep practicing law, keep my firm. If I run for Congress or the House of Representatives or the Senate, I can't. Like, I can't keep my full-time position in my firm. So that's, I think, why they are allowed to make money in the other ways they do. So they give up their career, basically.
Would you have to divest your interests in Cozza Law Group for the years that you served?
Probably, I believe so. Yeah, there'd be some. Yeah, because I could have influence if I didn't. Right. And again, I don't know all the specifics, but I believe that you'd have to put my interest into like a blind trust, where I have no control over the interest. I have no influence over it. And that's what happens in a lot of these situations. People can't, any business interest they can't, be part of anymore. But so they can make money elsewhere. They make money through investments. They make money through book royalties, book advances, speaking engagements. That's how they make their money. It's just a lot of money.
See, that money should not be prohibited to be earned, but it should not be payable to them until after they no longer hold the office. That would stop some of the bullshit, you know?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things that can stop the bullshit when you think about it, but they're never going to let that bullshit stop.
So you theoretically have this job working for the government as a representative.
Yeah.
But you also have a job as an author and a job as a speech.
Well, it's not a job. It's just what you're doing on the side.
Contract work.
Sure. Yeah. Look, when I become a senator, I'll let you know how it works.
It's going to be some funny shit there, man, for sure.
I'll still do your podcast.
I hope. All right, buddy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
All right, friends. Until next week, we never run out of material. See you soon.